Hi guys, it's me. I don't know why that was a very uninspiring hello. Excuse me, I'm going to try not to be doing that too much. I've got my tea, and for the most part, I'm not completely congested. So, we're gonna do this. The goal today is to not have hair on the stream, but the goal today is to finish this page because it's time. It's time to finish this page. I am ready. So basically all I've got left is to continue off all of this foliage with the greens that I have picked out that I started with 2 weeks ago. And then I have pulled out some warm grays that I want to do for the cat. And without further ado, I'm just gonna start because I don't think that needs any more explaining. Hi, Chloe. And like I said, I'm gonna try not to sniffle too much because I am feeling loads better than I was last weekend. Last weekend pretty much knocked me on my back end. But I am feeling much better. Hi, Robin. I'm doing pretty good. I can actually talk without sounding like I'm contagious, which is good. And I am really, really super excited to be finishing this page. This one's been a long time in coming. I think we're on like part 8, if I remember correctly. Oh, yuck. Yeah, colds are no fun. I thought I had a cold. I thought it was just like a head cold or something. And then it escalated very, very quickly on Sunday night. And I'm pretty sure I probably had the flu. Because I did not go to work for like 2 days. Because moving just seemed like a chore. I was looking back at my Fitbit last night. I'm like, I wonder how much I actually slept. Yeah, on Monday night I slept, or not Monday night, just Monday in general, I ended up sleeping for about 23 hours. Which I desperately needed. Hi, Elizabeth. Ooh, yuck. Yeah, I am surprised. It seems to, I don't know. There are some people that just don't get hit because my husband is still kicking. Doesn't seem to have affected him too much. Oh, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Yeah, it's just something this year. I feel like it's flying through everywhere really, really quickly. It was very quiet at work this week. And it just seemed to go down the row of offices. But yeah, I mean, that was a big bulk of my week this week. Did get some reading done, but most of the time I was snoring really, really bad, as one does when you can't breathe out of your nose. But it was kind of great because I was at the bottom of several animal piles. Hi, Elizabeth. So I'm not really complaining. Because when I was on the couch, I had the puppers, and when I was in bed, I had the Kit Kats. It was great. Okay, I'm gonna come back with my colored pencils. Oh yeah, it's like pretty much guaranteed that when you travel, at some point in time, you're just gonna get sick. It's not cool, but I don't think there has ever really been a time I haven't come back with some kind of sniffle or something after traveling. And I am starting to pick up on what I want to start filming for you guys. Because I want to do some new things this year. Kind of expand out. And I do know I need to do a updated marker video so you guys can see everything that's sitting next to me right now, because I think I finally have my set where I want it. Don't think I'm going to be purchasing anything new for a little while, or a long while. I mean, unless things start, you know, dying on me and I need to replace them. But yeah, I'm fairly comfortable where my set is at right now, because I finally completed my Polychromos set. I've got one more on its way to me because there was a slight mix-up when I ordered. So I'm waiting for my Indian red to come in. They accidentally gave me a gold instead of the red, which that doesn't really make any sense. But these things happen, I suppose. Hi, May. Oh dear. Well, maybe? Dang it, Michaels, why do you have to keep on having sales? Because, I mean, at this point, I'm thinking about starting to do backups for my, like, Tombos, and I need to start thinking about getting refills for my Copics. Just so that I have the ink here in case I have too much fun one day. And I wanted to start getting some of the bigger Pitt pens, but I think they're starting to discontinue some of those, which concerns me a little bit. Because there are some colors that they only have in the big Pitt line. Buy to get third free. Hey, Jeff. Jeff, how much do you love me? He's just laughing at me, guys. Come home with like 7 bags of stuff I don't need. It's about right.
Do I know where we're going after the stream?
To the back room so we can finish putting all the Christmas trees away. Okay. Never, ever, ever say sorry. Just walk away giggling maniacally. That is always the best plan. It's like trying to make sure I don't color in the smoke. That's perfect, Elizabeth. That's the correct response. I'm trying not to get too caught up in the details of this foliage right here. Because ultimately, in the end, it's all gonna kind of blur together. So I don't need to get too crazy with it. Oh, I love this community. It's great. Well, and now that the holiday season has kind of started to calm down, I think I'm going to attempt to color a little bit more off stream, because that's definitely something that tapered off when all of the holiday stuff started hitting. But I kind of have the urge to start doing that again. It'll probably only be on the weekend, because let's be honest, I come home from work and all I want to do is nap. But still. That's exactly it, May. I remember when I used to have money in my wallet. I don't remember what that, well, I sort of remember what that's like. It's more of like, I remember when I used to have money in my wallet that lasted more than a week. And that, I believe, is a flower. How did you escape? But we do have a thing called the internet. And we do have one in Omaha. There is a BAM.
That's why I said 2 nearby.
I'm just throwing that one out there. There's technically one nearby.
But it has to be a special trip, like when we go to Black.
That's true. But still, sometime, you know, I just might decide that today is a special trip day. Just pile myself in the car and patiently wait for my husband to climb in and, you know, start driving. Yeah, online shopping is amazing and wonderful and dangerous all at the same time. I remember when everyone used to be like hyper paranoid about online shopping. Mm-hmm. And there would be like all these warnings about it, especially when Amazon first started gaining traction. I remember that so well. And now we don't even think twice about it. Because I get most of my stuff online anymore. I don't think there's a week when there isn't some kind of Amazon or Chewy or Blick box that shows up on the doorstep. Okay, I'm gonna pull my pinks out real quick. I haven't watched it yet. It's on my to-watch list, Robin. I did see you posted it. My plan is to watch it on Monday when I start doing some work. But I'm excited to see what you are reading. No new outfits yet. I'm sure as things start going on sale, because, you know, they're getting the summer stock in, I'm going to go a little bit crazy. Not going to lie, because everybody needs a stellar wardrobe. But yeah. But there are plans. I have plans. I promise I have plans. And by so many, he means 6. There were 6 new outfits for Christmas. I counted. I can do math. Okay. Just gonna get a little bit of yellow in there. Not too much, just enough. Right? 6 is too many, especially compared to like how many coloring things I may have picked up because of holiday. So when I was doing the watercolor swatches, the water-based marker swatches, not watercolor water. Oh, wow, that is a tongue twister. When I was doing the swatches for my water-based markers, I was also keeping a spreadsheet to keep track of how many I have. And it might have gotten away from me a little bit as which is why I'm like, I probably don't need to buy any more markers right now, because at the end of the day, I have 475 water-based markers, and that's not counting my watercolor markers or my alcohol markers or my India ink. So yeah, like I said, it's gotten a little intense, which is why I think I need to do a video at some point. Just being like, okay, so when you see me coloring and I'm talking about things, this is what I'm pulling from. Because I do have some markers in there that I haven't shown on stream yet. Some brands and things that you guys might find interesting. So I definitely want to do that. There is just a little bit of a pink right here. Just a tip that I want to... There we go. I thought you guys might be a little bit excited about that. Now the real question is, what would be a good story to go with this picture? There might be like an Aesop's fable somewhere about a cat, or an Anderson. Find a good fable or fairy tale centered around a cat. That might be good for this picture. Oh, that's me all the time, Elizabeth, which is why I hardly ever do backgrounds. It's because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I had thought about Puss in Boots. I will be honest, I did think about that one. And I think if I don't find anything more appropriate, I might go with Puss in Boots. So I'm starting to wonder if I shouldn't have eaten that breadstick right before I started the stream. So if I burp in your guys' ear, just know it's because I heart all of your faces, and that is how I show my love. Because we are classy up in here. Hi, Darla. And I'm bound and determined that we are going to get this page done today. Doesn't matter how long the stream takes. Okay, I'm probably not going to be running the stream for like 5 hours, but I can see us going 2 hours or so. There we go. See, we've got almost the whole top part of it done now. We're doing good. We've got this. And then you guys just let me know if you see any little bits that I accidentally miss coloring. Then just start shouting at me. Oh, thank you, Robin. Yes, I am definitely enjoying how this is turning out. And trying to mix all the different kinds of greens together. Oops, wrong side. Some shadows in there. Well, I highly recommend this coloring book, but I'm a little bit biased because I'm enjoying it too much. I mean, it's really, really fiddly, but sometimes fiddly is just what I need. I mean, and there's some weird bits in it. Like how awkward all these like random objects in this picture are. I think it would be perfectly fine with me if it was just the cat and these pretty flowers. But I'm making it work. I know his second book comes out this year. Relatively soon, I think. I don't remember if it was in spring or not. I feel like it was supposed to come out this spring. I lose track of things. I know I've pre-ordered it, so once I pre-order something, I tend to just not think about it until it magically shows up at my doorstep. I'll be like, oh yeah. Getting really, really finely detailed. I might have to sharpen this colored pencil. I know I've already done that one. Kind of smooth all of that out. Here we go. Okay. Let's see, what else can I talk about? I mean, like I said, my week wasn't too terribly exciting because I spent most of it in bed. Let's see, I managed to finish Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which I don't know why it took me so long to read that book because I enjoyed it immensely. It was a wonderful read. I'm a little paranoid about picking up Vengeful because I really like where Vicious ended. And I like what she did with the characters and the openness of it. But of course, that's totally not going to stop me from picking up Vengeful because I do have it on my shelf. Which, how did everybody enjoy my not really but sort of bookshelf organization that happened? My realization that I didn't have enough floor space to do exactly what I wanted. And I will let you know that even though I organized my bookshelf, what was it, like 3 weeks now? 3 weeks ago now? I've already run into some space issues. Which is why I've started the whole trash my TBR thing, because I need to let some books go, because in reality I'm probably never gonna get to some of them, and I just need a purge. I love the Darkest Shade of Magic series. I really, really, truly enjoyed that one, which was my first V.E. Schwab, which is why I usually pick up anything she writes now, because I really, really, really like that series. Yeah, and I don't think... What did you do? Okay. Sorry, there was just a loud clang over here. I got concerned for a little while. There's too many animals running around that any noise, like, just terrifies me. Speaking of which, sorry, I'm having a spaz moment where bright shiny objects and random change of conversation. Can someone explain to me yes, Elizabeth, you can always enable me to get new books. And Darker Shade of Magic is fantasy YA. Sorry, like I said, I'm that just is pretty much how I carry on a basic conversation. If you know me, I will start in one corner and I will spaz out and talk about something else, and then I'll round back out to what I was originally talking about. But anyways, random sounds that terrify me. Can somebody explain to me why smoke alarm low batteries happen at like 2 or 3 in the morning? Why is it that it never fails? It's always pretty much when you've just like hit your deepest part of sleep. And there's something about that sound that it just instantly, I'm awake as soon as I hear that first beep. And then adrenaline is just coursing through my system for the next like 2 hours. So of course I don't get any sleep, which is probably why I'm a little spastic right now, because we had that experience last night one of the smoke detectors decided that it was a good time to say, hey, can I get new batteries? And of course, they're never really polite and say it that way. It's that ear-piercing, high-pitched, beeping noise. Like, who invented that noise? Because it is atrocious. And I would like to sit down and have a very long conversation with them. And maybe, you know, just set them in a room with their invention for 48 hours straight with no extra batteries to make the sound stop. And just see how they feel about it. Just see.
Give them the wrong size batteries.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this noise was invented for torture reasons. I'm just saying. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And of course, it was the smoke alarm that I just replaced the batteries in like 6 months ago. Not even that, I don't know. So apparently the batteries that I put in it weren't fully juiced, which is great. To be fair, at the time, I was kind of panicking and just glad that I had batteries that fit in the slot. Because I'm not always prepared. Sometimes I forget that I used to be a Girl Scout. Oh, multiple ones going off. Yeah, that would, nope. Nope. I mean, we have a security system at the house. And I am dreading the day when the sensors for the door or any of the doors or windows, I'm dreading the day when the batteries get low in those ones. Because, of course, those are going to be, like, obnoxiously weird batteries. So they're not going to be, like, an easy replacement. I mean, I guess I could probably look it up and see what batteries they take now before it happens. Oh. But yeah, that's not going to be fun. Well, surprisingly, none of the animals reacted. They all just continued to snore away. And it was only Nissa who had any reaction whatsoever. And that's because I accidentally kicked her trying to get out of bed. Because she was between my legs. Otherwise, the dogs just, you know, snoring away. Of course, the guinea pigs don't really care about anything. I don't think anything can disturb them. And then Fia was just like, nah, I'm here. I don't care what you do. Fia is my grumpy cat, I guess you could call her. She has her own way and doesn't really care what anybody else thinks. Keeps on going. But yeah. So Nissa just kind of like sat on the bed and glared at me till the whole adventure was figured out. Now I feel like I was in the middle of saying something before I got distracted by the smoke alarm story. But honestly, I don't remember what I was talking about. How can I tell the cats apart? Well, it's actually really, really simple if you actually see them in person. So Nissa is a pure white cat, and she's got short, stumpy little legs, and she tends to grow fur. I mean, not a lot, just mainly on her back hips and her tail, especially in the wintertime. Whereas Fia, she is my long-legged, graceful beast who has cow spots. So she's got dark spots every now and then on her skin that if she were to grow hair, she would be a black and white cat. And then she doesn't really have a lot of fur. I mean, even in wintertime, she doesn't really grow fur. And so even in the middle of the night, when all the lights are out, if you feel the cats, they have different textures to them. So that's how I tell the cats apart in the dark. Oh, yuck, that does not sound fun, Robin. Okay, I need my colored pencils. Yeah, someday I just want them to invent a battery that never dies. That would be great. I want the Energizer commercials to be true. Just keeps going and going and going and going. But yeah, no, I really feel like I was in the middle of a story before I got distracted by batteries. Something about, oh, because Jeff dropped something. Okay, that's where that came from. Yeah, that's exactly it, May. I mean, I guess it's just like anybody, you know, everybody's hair has a different texture to it. Cats are the same way. And if you spend enough time around the same cats repeatedly, you start to pick up on little nuances. I mean, even the boys are the same way. Their skin textures aren't quite the same as each other. Oh, pretty much. That's what these live shows are about, right? Just rabbit trails. Just seeing where everything could lead us. Because I never really have anything specific that I want to talk about. Kind of just start babbling. Which is what I do with any of my friends that I'm talking to. Just like whatever comes to my brain just comes out of my mouth. Which I suppose could be dangerous. Yep, yep. I do that all the time to Jeff. It's like, oh, Fia wants attention, or oh, Nissa's coming out. I mean, the oscillations of even their purrs are different. Which is crazy. But I suppose makes sense, because we can tell humans apart just by how they talk, so why not cats? Exactly. Hi, Joey. Okay. gonna swing it up in here. Oh, why not color a big chunk? Going a little crazy. Why not? Okay, I think that's a leaf. Well, it is now. Okay. There we go. There's a leaf there. Perfect. Cats are one of my favorite animals. They're definitely at the top of the list. I mean, I'm a huge animal person in general, but cats are probably at the top, though I love my puppers and the guinea pigs. I mean, I actually like most rodents, which I guess most people find really weird. There was one point where I was contemplated getting some rats. I don't know if that'll happen, but I'll probably be a little bit allergic to them, like I am the guinea pigs. And I already made a promise that after the boys have decided that they're done here, that I'm probably not going to get any more guinea pigs. As much as I love them, it's just I'm on so many antihistamines just to deal with all of the hay and everything else that it's just, at some point, it's just, I love them, but I have to think about my own health too. And I already promised a forever home, so they are going to be with me until they decide that they want to move on. Yeah, it was kind of starting to snow here again. We got a ridiculous amount of ice this weekend, which made travel not the funnest. I mean, I definitely prefer snow to ice.
It stopped now, but we're supposed to get more on Tuesday, I think.
Yep, we've definitely hit the winter season, and it's going to be snow, snow, and more snow for a little while. Boys are not thrilled about it. We have contemplated getting them little booties so that they don't freeze their paws when they go outside, but part of me is like, I don't think they're gonna keep those on their feet or want to walk in them at all. So that might be a little bit of a lost cause. I suppose we can try, though. I know one thing we are missing is going for walks. It's been quite a while since when we've been able to take them outside for a walk. But they are definitely enjoying the windows when the sun is out. Just basking in the sun. It's always a fight to see who is going to win the spot for the ideal sun intake. Yeah, no, that is the biggest thing I'm paranoid about is the salt and grime and all that kind of stuff. We got some paw-safe ice melt the other day that I'm hoping will help so that their paws don't dry out and start cracking and all that horrible uncomfortableness. Which I suppose is one thing I am thankful for, that we can't take them for walks in the winter because of all that stuff that is just everywhere. Because my dog growing up, yeah, she used to have a horrible time with the stuff they used to they would put down. And then she'd walk through it and then just start cracking and bleeding, and we'd have to put stuff on her paws. Oh, and I was going to let you guys know that since Robin was talking about inkjet printers, kind of just triggered, I bought some cardstock the other day. And so I am going to redo all of my color charts on cardstock, because right now they're on like the cheap printer paper and they are a little banged up because I consult them all the time and starting to stain, and it's not cool. So I figured I'd redo all of those. Especially since I have since added more things to my collection since I originally did the color charts, and I've been adding them higgly-piggly. So I'm going to do an update of those. I've also, so you guys have seen my hex charts that I've got from Sandy Alnock. I've taken the Polychromos hex chart and I've modified it so that I can do a hex chart for my Pitt pens and for my Goldfabers. And so I was going to print those out on cardstock and color those in and kind of show you what I did. A few little spores in there. I think that's the last of the leaves. I'm gonna move that up so you can actually. Yep, that is exactly it. Well, and see, and that's why when I show you my water-based marker swatches, I did it so that I could easily add or remove things to the different pages, because I didn't want to constantly be redoing things as markers died and I added new markers and all of that. So I've got this interesting system of swatch cards and Velcro, and it was a project and a half, but I'm kind of proud of it. Yes, and I'm a huge fan of Sandy Elnock's hex charts. She did an amazing job, which is why I mean, I'll show you what I did. I probably won't make them available because I feel because it's too much based off of Sandy stuff that I don't want to step on toes. So it's just something for me, but technically anybody could do it if they have a desire to. But I mean, I love seeing how other people, you know, organize and chart and all that kind of stuff. So I want to show you what I've done. I know that's not everybody's favorite thing in the world, but I have charts and spreadsheets galore. Whew. So with my new modified hex charts, I'll have a Copic hex chart, I'll have a Polychromos hex chart, I'll have a Pitt Artist Pen hex chart, and a Goldfaber colored pencil hex chart. I'm thinking about possibly building up my own at some point for, say, my Irojitens and maybe my Tombos. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that might be a bit excessive. I'll show you what I've done for my water-based markers before I do a hex chart for them. But I'm starting to like my combined hex chart, or my combined color charts, better than my individual utensiled charts, because I'm using things in tandem, so seeing them already laid out together on a chart, it's making me geek out, and I like it a lot. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the kitty cat. Kitty cat time. So for the Copics, I have just pulled out the Warm Gray 3, Warm Gray 2, and the Warm Gray 0. And so I'm just gonna play with the warm grays. I'm gonna see what happens. I don't know. I'm hoping I don't completely screw this up, but you know, we're just gonna see if I can get it so that the whole cat is on screen. Sort of, kind of. My utensils are in the way up here. Okay. Just gonna open everything. Yes, I did say spreadsheet because I absolutely adore spreadsheets. I now have a spreadsheet for my reading for the year that breaks everything down into genres and page counts and months, and it's absolutely amazing, and I love it to death, and it even makes charts. And then I have spreadsheets to keep track of all of my Copic markers and all of my Faber-Castells and all of my water-based markers and pretty much my life. And then I have spreadsheets to keep track of different color combinations that I find useful. I'm just laying down a quick base with the Warm Gray 0 real quickly. I think I might come back with a super light pink and hit the ears a little bit. Just because I want there to be a hint of pink in the ears. I'm trying to move quick and steady. Because I mean, truly, the warm gray 0 and the white of this paper, there's not a huge difference between the two. But there's just enough, and like I said, I want to get a base down so that when I start adding more, I have an eyelash on the page. It's got something to start pushing around, and it isn't just straight on the paper. Well, it's like I can see it when I first put it down, but it definitely lightens up as it dries. And maybe it's just picking it up better on the recording. Which I'm not complaining about for sure. I need to come back and get this foot before I forget. So yeah, I mean, it's a slight different, and there's just, how did I get eyelashes all over this page? You know that awkward moment where you're in the middle of filming and then you realize there's this giant piece of hair in the middle of your artwork? And of course, I can't blame any of the animals for any of the hair that shows up. It's all pretty much mine. Okay. Just kind of filling in the color in there. Not being too horribly careful yet. I mean, I will be eventually, but not yet. And so I'm just going to use the same light pink colors to give parts of the cat just pink, a little bit of pink to it. I mean, just like in the ears and maybe a little in the nose. And then in the nails, because you know how when you've got a white cat, they have the clear nails, and so you can see a little bit of the quick underneath. That's my plan. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but there we go. I think I got all the little tiny pieces. So I'm gonna grab, this is just the RV000, which is the pale purple. Just kind of pull some of that up a little bit. In those nails. Might come in and hit a little bit with the RV02, which is the sugar almond pink. And so these are all both the same pinks I used right for the flowers. And I know it looks a little bit much, but I'm not done yet. I promise. I promise. I promise it'll look good. It's all gonna come together. Especially since this is just the marker base. So it's gonna seem a little bit obnoxious right now, but things are going to happen. Okay, so this is the warm gray 2. I'll start just playing around a little bit. So I have a feeling I'm going to be building all of this out in stages. And I have to remind myself I don't have to do this all in Copic. I've got color pencils pulled for this as well. I mean, there's not a lot of area to color the eyeballs, but I might pull a blue for the eyes. I'm kind of sort of basing this off my own cats, mainly because I sit there and I stare at them every day. So they're at the forefront of what goes on in my brain when I think about cats. Otherwise, I'm just winging this a little bit. Like I said, I'm not being too extremely careful about all of it, because we're going to be layering and building and all of that kind of stuff, and so it's going to come together. Yeah, it's something I'm slowly learning, is to not be freaking out about the ugly stage of my pictures that I'm coloring, because I mean, every picture goes through a point where it's just like, why? What did I just make? The worst decision of my life? I mean, that's not how I envision it in my head, but not being horrendously careful. But it's gonna come together. I know it looks a little streaky right now. But it's gonna all blend, and it's gonna be beautiful. And sometimes I mumble like this to just remind myself of the fact that this is not the end result. Then sometimes it's really, really intimidating to be coloring large areas. Because I mean, when you have a nice small area, you have a little bit of grace. But when you're dealing with the larger areas, it's like, okay, you gotta get the shading and everything else a little bit more cohesive, because otherwise it looks funny. Okay, I'm probably going to be a little bit quiet for a little while as I sit here and try and figure out what I'm going to color what. So I am sorry for not being chattier, but I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do this. I'm going to come back with the lighter and just smooth out some of that a little bit. Then I'll come back with the darkest gray and really hit some of those spots. And then probably, hold on, switch to the colored pencils to really get everything evened out. Might come back with some of the lighter grays again once I get the darkest tones in place. do that one quite yet. There we go. It'll dry out a little bit. Okay. And now I've got the warm gray 3 that I'm gonna really hit those spots with. Because I just want to give myself a little bit of a guide, but I also don't want to make this cat too dark. I mean, I want it to not blend into the background, but I don't want it to necessarily be the centerpiece because I like the flowers and everything else. So I want those to stand up a little bit more. Plus the way this cat is kind of ghosting, I wanted to give it kind of that surreal ghost-like quality as well. Which is why I decided to go with the gray. I mean, for a little while I was playing with just making it a black cat, but I think that would have just flattened it too much. And that's not what I wanted either. Pull the light up real quick. Might need to add a little more dark in there. Getting hyper-focused. Need to remember to blink. Does anybody else do that? Where they're like in the middle of doing very fine detail. They forget to blink. Or is that just me? Granted, I already get in trouble with the eye doctor because apparently I don't blink correctly. I mean, who knew there was a correct way to blink? Not me. But apparently I don't. Light back in. Some of that through. Are we talking about calling it an emergency so that you guys can go get cheesecake? Because I officially approved, even though I can't eat cheesecake anymore. I'm going to live vicariously through everybody else who can. Because cheesecake is life. Even when it wants to kill you. Just saying. Yeah, this year, turns out that I have an intolerance to whey. So I'm learning to adapt not to have dairy products. I mean, I've been having some interesting vegan options that I'm not necessarily complaining about. But it's definitely a transition. Because when you're used to just eating anything and everything and not necessarily thinking about the repercussions. Oh, every once in a while I look up into the chat and the random comments that I see, and I don't necessarily even know the context for. Someday, maybe I'll figure out how to legitimately keep track of what's going on in the chat while at the same time color. At this point, I'm just being kind of willy-nilly about everything, to be honest. Okay. I think at this point I am just fiddling, and I need to let it go and move on to the colored pencils. And start laying some of those down. Because I'm starting to try and do too much fine details with just the Copic, which isn't what I intended. As I continue on with the Copic, saying I'm going to stop using the Copic. Yeah, that's pretty much how I roll. I can stop anytime I want to. Anytime. Okay, putting the Copics away. I have 3 of my warm gray polys pulled, and I need to sharpen some of them. So I have the warm gray, oh, excuse me. I have the warm gray 1, which I don't know how much I'm going to use this one. This might just be used for putting highlights back in. But I also have the warm gray 3 and the warm gray 4. I'm going to start with the 4. And so I'm going to be doing what I did for pretty much everything, is I'm going to be putting the darks in and then slowly moving towards the light. And I'm going to try and follow the Copics that I laid down. Just kind of smooth everything down. Once again, I'm going to start out really, really loose and slowly get more refined. because I find that if I get too refined too quickly, I lay too much down too fast, and then I can't improvise. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Like I said, sometimes I have to, you know, keep telling myself that right now it's in the middle of the ugly phase, and then as I slowly build up the color, it's gonna become more of what I had in mind. Bye, May. I'm glad you could stop in. Starting to look like a little bit like a statue. Don't know if I want to pull any blacks into this. I think I just want to keep it soft. Okay, that there are parts that aren't like extremely high contrast. Got to keep track of where I've already been. I don't keep going over the same spot repeatedly, even though I'm probably going to be doing that anyways. Just don't need to do it repeatedly in one go, if you know what I mean. Okay, let me sharpen this real quick. I'm starting to get a little dull. That's better. There's something very, very soothing about hearing a colored pencil just go across paper. And I find it extremely relaxing, even if I'm the one coloring. I mean, granted, usually it's at this point that if I'm watching somebody else color like this, that I start to like slowly like drift off. My eyes just start drifting close. I promise I won't do that while I'm coloring. But I don't know, there's just something about it. I really, really don't have any rhyme or reason of how I'm tackling this cat, do I? It's like I start over here, and then all of a sudden I'm coloring over here. I suppose as long as, you know, it all gets done, it doesn't really matter. How? I suppose. A little streaky there. No, I think I'm still on the screen, but yell at me if I ever start coloring and I'm not in frame. I'm notoriously good at doing that. I always start out these videos extremely, extremely chatty. And then, about the hour and a half, I just kind of go silent. I've noticed that. Maybe I need to get one of those, like, chat packs. That I've seen a couple other people use. Just kind of get words flowing. yes, I am definitely getting lost in trying to figure out, because there's something really, really repetitive about coloring leaves. So you can almost do it without thinking. But when you hit elements like this cat, really makes you just stop and think for a little bit. Oh yeah, I can totally understand that, Joey. It's when you're off in one direction having a completely different conversation, and then because of lag and everything else, it doesn't. Yeah, I've never experienced that with a phone conference at all. Nope. But I mean, chat packs, I mean, are really great. I mean, it's just basically like, it's conversation idea starters. So, you know, it's like, start talking about the, what is a good example? Like, what is the first coloring book you remember ever coloring in, kind of deal? I mean, it could be when you were really young, or it could be recently, if you just now started coloring. Because we had a whole ton of, like, those cheap Disney coloring books growing up. You know, on that really horrendous paper that was off-white and had, like, a weird texture to it. And of course, it was always me and crayons, where you do the big old bold outline around the shape, and then you'd color in the middle part. That's how I first colored. Hi, Candy. Oh, hi, Shay. Welcome. You guys are here just in time to see how everything's falling together. Hoping to have it somewhat wrapped up soon. It's like what we've been going for. Holy fudge. We're getting close to that 2-hour mark. I mean, to be honest, I may be stalling a little bit so I don't have to sit there and take the rest of the Christmas trees down. Feel free to share, Elizabeth. Yeah, no, the chat is open to share anything and everything you want to share, even other people's channels. I'm all for that. Because I am not stingy. That and plus, you know, I might want to check them out too. Yeah, that's exactly it. That weird paper. Of course, I also spent a lot of my time at daycare growing up, so I've been exposed to some pretty weird coloring books growing up, and then having to share coloring books, because you know the coloring books weren't actually mine or anything, they were from the center. But yeah, no, that paper will always stick with me. Okay, I think I'm going to switch to my next colored pencil now. Ooh, that's exciting, Shay. Barbie, I forgot about the Barbie coloring books. I used to have one of those paper doll Barbie coloring majiggers that I was endlessly fascinated with. Okay, so I have the Warm Gray 3 that I'm now gonna go in and smooth out even more. I'm probably gonna come back with the darker gray again and add a little more, either that or I might go and grab an even darker warm gray. And I won't use it a whole ton, just in select spots. And so I'm basically just using this right now to smooth out transition points. So they're not quite so in your face. Hold on, I'm gonna come back in with dark right there a little bit. Okay, and we're back. I think I need to pull a little bit of pink around in there, just to get a little bit of that eyelid flap. There's that, just a little speck. Forgot what I was doing there for a second. I'm like, wait, which one am I coloring with? What am I doing? What is my name? Who are you people and why are you here? I can feel the end. I can feel it. Cat turned a little more gray than I was anticipating, but I don't hate it. Oh, thank you, Robin. That was kind of my goal. lightest gray and then come back with a deeper gray. Ooh, how did I miss that? See, like I said, sometimes I get a little all over the place when I have to color bigger objects like this. And I forget spots. There we go, that's better. Then there's probably spots. Oh, thank you, Joey. Probably spots where I can get a deeper gray in, especially in the foliage. And I lost a little bit of my pink in the ears that I kind of want to pull back a little bit. So I might get the pinks colored pencils out and just fill that in a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna hit the lightest. This is the warm gray 1. I'm just gonna kind of go back and hit. I mean, there's not a lot I want to hit with this color, but there are spots where I think it just needs to be smoothed out. And I'm just going higgledy-piggledy, because that is my favorite way to go. Because I think, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to, I got a little flat over there, so I'm gonna have to pull some of those darks back in. But overall, I think it is almost there. Go back and hit the nails. So I'm gonna pull some darks back in there. Something about that foot. I don't know if I'm 100% happy with it. But it's not bad. I mean, it's not. Okay, so I think just a little bit of pink. Not a lot. Just kind of give a nice hint. Because you know when you've got a short-furred cat, you can see a little bit of that skin in those ears. Okay, I was gonna get those corners a little bit. Okay, let's pull a darker, just a slightly darker. I just did that the wrong direction, didn't I? Okay, I'm going to go, not that you guys can see, I don't know if I want to go all the way to 6 or if I just want to hit a 5. I think I'm going to go to 6. We're just gonna, we're going to 6. But I'm going to try and be very, very gentle with it. Which would be easier if I sharpened it a little bit. Okay. You guys are too sweet. I am glad you guys have stuck with me for this whole picture. Because 8 different coloring sessions that's a commitment. Okay, yeah. So it's giving it a little bit more depth. I like it. Without being too excessive. I think I need... Yeah, I always tag the artist. I've been, every time I post an update picture of it, I always tag Joseph. Just because I think if I was a coloring book artist, I would love to see what people do with my coloring books. So I'm going to try and be really, really gentle with this color, because if I get too crazy with it, I'm definitely going to go way too dark with this. And I don't want that. I just wanted to give everything a little bit more contrast, but not a ton. Gotta make sure I'm staying in frame. I did that, didn't I? I just love how much you can layer with these polys. There we go. That's awesome, Shay. I have just actually started reading that. I'm only maybe 10 or so pages in to Brightly Burning. I promise I will have it read by the live show. Otherwise, that would be immensely awkward. But I'm really, really, really looking forward to doing that live show next week. But yeah, we get to see how all of that book club stuff goes. I'm excited. So excited. Trying not to darken things too much, because then I'm gonna have a very dark cat. Nobody wants to see that. So we must be very, very light. Am I even on screen right now? Guys, come on. More blaming myself than you guys, because like I said, I am bad. Might have darkened that tip a little too much. A little too much. Let me bring it back a little bit. liking this. Yes, I am. Such a pretty kitty. Yeah, I think that extra level of depth is doing it a lot of good. Originally thought that this was going to be a lot lighter than it was turning out, but I think it's definitely pulling him out of the background, which is good. So maybe if it was too light, you wouldn't get to see it, since I don't have any plans to do anything to the background. Let's see, pull. And I did say, I was thinking about the possibility of doing a little bit of blue in that eyeball. But I think blue might be a little too random. So I might come back with one of our golden yellowy colors and give it kind of an amber look. I think that might work. A little bit better than. So I have these, which I'll use Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, gonna just, I mean, there's not much. Let me give it a little bit, and then I'll darken it. Oh, I got a little bit in that eye. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And I got colored pencil. A bit of amber in there. Could pull the gold. Yes. Just kind of get it a little bit in there. Give it a little bit of depth. Okay, I need to fix that eyeball because I got some yellow in there. Where? Ooh, oops. Just making a mess. It's fine. There we go. I like that. Okay, let's see if I can get it all on frame for you. Don't mind the random jarring as I try and adjust you guys all on. Like I'm trying to wait for my feed to catch up. There we go. And that, I think we're all on screen. It's like, am I? Am I not? So that is the kitty. I like how it turned out. I mean, it's not necessarily what I originally had in my brain, but I think I like where it ended up. And we're finished. I'm excited. Thank you guys so much for joining me and sticking around for the whole, I don't even know how long we took. For however long it has been since I've started, 2 hours or so. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do next week, but it should be fun. I stream every Sunday at 11 Central, so I hope to see you guys all again. I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.